What makes Florida the best state for indie wrestling?
Yeah. Why is who said it was the best state for indie wrestling? That's another question. That'd be my question back to him. What makes it the best state? I would say why most people think Florida is the best. All right, it probably is the best state for indie wrestling, I guess, if I think about it, because of NXT. Being there, and even at one point when AEW opened up, they were based out of Jacksonville, which is technically Florida, J-Ville. It's almost Georgia, it's Georgia to me, but it's Florida, right? So, but with the PC being in Orlando, in that there, so a lot of the talent that was hired, wrestlers that went through there, would lived in started in Florida. They had to move there, relocate to Florida. So then now you got a lot of guys that were with NXT that possibly got let go, or a lot of people that moved there to let go. So that's wrestlers and wrestlers, right? So now you got wrestlers. Now, prior to the PC existing in Florida Championship Wrestling and whatnot, a lot of wrestlers, older wrestlers, I was born and raised here, but a lot of, they moved here. No state tax, no snow, beaches. And what do we know about wrestling? Tan fat's better than white fat. So
if you can't tone it, tan it.
Tan it. If you can't tone it, tan it. So and if you don't want to pay it, come here to state tax. But what they're going to get you on is the cost of living's raising up here, but they're not giving you any more money to work a regular job. So you better be wrestling and doing something that you can pull some money in, or you're going to be caught slipping here in Florida. They don't smarten you up on that part. But there's no state tax. Mm-hmm. But they all move here for that reason, the weather, or then later, as things go along for the PC, a chance to get into PC, or they got hired into PC and they didn't finish there. So with all that being said, there is an abundance of wrestlers. It's oversaturated, right? So to me, that's why when you said what makes it the best state, in my head it doesn't make it the best state because there's no money here, because it's oversaturated with wrestlers. Yes, it has a lot of shows. So to a fan, it probably is the best state for wrestling because you're getting such a variety of wrestlers. Like CCW runs 150 shows. The school where you're training and you work for, and I do, and the school I run is Coastal Championship Wrestling, CCW. They run a lot of shows. But for example, they run a lot of shows, but they have tons of people that have been on TV, have TV time, older guys that had like meaningful runs in different, not so much older, but established guys, meaningful runs, all calling and trying to get on and working at like super discounted rates and stuff because it's home. They want to be home. So with that being said, for a fan watching it, you get to see so many matches with wrestlers that you like or know, and there's so many shows because there's so many people running shows because of the amount of wrestlers there. But as a professional wrestler working, to me, I work mostly out of state. It's hard here because you're competing with a guy that, like, say my rate, whatever. Say my rate's $2,000 a show, right? Well, they'll call up and say I could do this for $300 a show, and they'll be home at night because they just wanted to bring their grandkids to watch them, or their kids watch them wrestle one more thing, and it would be. Nice. So it's that kind of. It can be that kind of difference in a pay scale. You know what I mean? So, and you have such an abundance of wrestlers. There's so many from all levels, from somebody that did an AEW dark match to had an AEW run. And AEW guys can still work other places too, some of them with their contracts. And then you got guys that didn't make it in NXT or did or were even in WWE at some point and got let go, and they still live here because they started there and they based out of here. And then you have the older guys that moved here back before any of this stuff was there, no state taxes, and then they start running schools. So there's a lot of schools producing new wrestling talent. So I suppose as a fan, this is why it's a great state for indie wrestling, because there's so many wrestlers and so many shows and so many people working at a lower rate. People can do the shows and make it happen, because it's not easy to run a wrestling show. Like I'm not knocking Florida for not paying. I'm just saying, for me as a wrestler, it's not the greatest state, because I would make more money out of state where there's not as many wrestlers. Where if you go there, like they came to see Gangrel that night, they know what they're coming to see. They bought the ticket to see it. So if you draw, you draw. If you don't, it's on you, or they're advertising, or both of you. Right. So or if it does well, they did well advertising it, and you were still Some people were interested in seeing it and they would want to see. That's my biggest fear. When people ask me my biggest fear all the time, do you still get really nervous about your matches, right? And I go, yeah, I do. I do always get nervous because I do want to have the best match I can have, right? I'll still pee a good 20 times and I either 3 or 4 or whatever. 20 is an exaggeration. Poop twice, I don't know. Or feel like I have to. Yeah, whatever. You're going to go through it. I don't care, girl, boy, or not. It's the same nerves, right?
Mine's I just want to throw up. Yeah.
I never felt I felt like throwing up after my match when it's been bad, but never
hyperventilator puke. Yeah,
never before it, but after I felt like puking when I've not delivered what I wanted to. But where was I at there? Now that I got sidetracked.
Indie wrestling in Florida.
But my fear, all over my ADD, my fear. So when they ask me if I get nervous, I still do. I still get nervous in the sense of those things, not in the sense of having a bad match. I still want to have the best match, get nervous. But that's there. That's just as a professional performer, entertainer. But my biggest fear and thought going out before that curtain is it's a different generation. It's been 30 years since I've been on TV. I'm still do other things, the small things here and there. I still wrestle every weekend. So I still do 2 to 3 matches a weekend. So 2 to 3 times a weekend, I wonder, are they gonna remember when I go through that curtain? You know what I mean? So so that set of nerves kicks in over my want to have a good match set of nerves. But the good match thing's still there too. That's still that's in my DNA. You want to have the best you can. You don't want to go out there and cheat anybody or yourself or anything or the person paying you. But yeah, will they remember fear, nerve? That's the one that's like, and the music hits and but. I have been blessed every weekend. Blessed. And there's been shows like I think some of the breweries I don't think they would know. There'd be crowds. But then you also kick in on your experience, you learn how to connect too. But then you gotta rely on all that. But I don't even know why I rambled into all this, but maybe it's that gold crap you gave me. Whatever.
So
all right. So hopefully I answered the Cyber Chumps message there.
Wait till you hear this one.